today I'm here with Ashley once again. Welcome back to the channel, Ashley. And we are going to talk about Freya. Now, I don't have a lot of information about Freya. I am very close to Odin and, of course, the Divine Mother Kalima. But I really wanted to hear some more information about Freya. So, Ashley, when it comes to Freya, what has she done for you as an individual, spiritually, and what do you think she can do for other people? What is her domain, in your opinion?
Okay. More than anything, I think Freya helps people to cultivate a sense of beauty, like internal beauty, and independence, like feminine independence. She's helped me a lot with self-confidence and appreciation of beauty and moving past like pain that I've had with different lovers that I've had. And so, yeah, I think she can help a lot, like with cultivation of beauty and independence.
So, if you had to name one spiritual experience that you've had with Freya, whether it comes down to meditation or spirit work or astral projection, was there, a plane of either understanding or visualization that Freya brought you to in order to teach you a certain lesson, and what was that lesson?
So one of the stories, she's like flying through the sky and like her teardrops fall to the earth and they turn into gold. So like I had a vision of that once when I was crying in a bathroom once over a lover that I had, and it just helped me to cultivate like an understanding of all of my pain and all of my sensitivity, like ultimately could turn into spiritual gold. So
Something that you can use. So,
yeah.
so in the I think it's the prose and poetic Edda. Freya is always looking for Ode. A lot of people think that it's Odin, but many other people think that it's just her husband that she has lost. So she's constantly looking for this love that is called Ode. Um, do you think that, we also know that Freya has her own hall. Half of the dead who die in battle are given to Freya, are allowed to go to Freya in her hall. The other half go to Odin. So, is there a warrior aspect to Freya that can empower the divine feminine? Is there a warrior aspect that makes her a god of war specifically? Or is it just the realm of love and being a warrior in that realm, trying to achieve what you want in that realm? Or is there another nature to Freya that a lot of people don't think about?
Well, I think she's very much a divine embodiment of the feminine when it's like the archetype of both like a warrior lover. So she's really unique in that way. Like most goddesses will either be like of love or like war hunting, things like that. But she's like a true maiden in the fact that she can come from love, but she also is like about independence, and she's just like the divine feminine spirit, like in an independent way. And when she's looking for Ode, I think that's more she's looking for this connection that she doesn't find with him. Because I've read other stories, and I can't remember the actual sources, but I've read stories where she actually left him in order to go find the Brisingamen. So.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. A lot of what a lot of what is associated with Freya makes me think of Artemis in the Greek pantheon. But Artemis is of course the eternal virgin. She is the goddess of the hunt, and she's also the twin of Apollo, the twin of music, um, uh, fun things, and also creativity. Do you think that Freya can work with men as well as women when it comes to inspiring one to creativity, inspiring one to the artistic arts, and is there a gender divide between these two, or do you think that she is a great goddess for everyone in general?
Well, I think that like Freya and Artemis, like they're a really good comparison because like Artemis actually, I believe she had a lover or somebody that was interested in her, and then her brother became so jealous that he actually made it so that she accidentally killed. Like in some stories, she kills him, like she hunts him and accidentally kills him, and in other stories, like I think it's her brother that kills him. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think that
actually, that when it
Freya
comes to that
can work
story,
with
it was actually
both
interesting. I've been listening
males.
to oh well, when it comes to that story, I was actually listening to an ancient Greek podcast where it goes through mythology and stuff like that. And yeah, Apollo did not like this one guy liking his sister Artemis so much. So he tricked Artemis into actually shooting him with an arrow, one of her arrows,
Yeah.
which was interesting because like she didn't know it at the time, but he said, okay, I bet you can't hit this. And then she actually hit it, and then it either went through that target and into her lover, or it went into her lover himself. And I actually think that harkens back to also Cupid for the Romans, and there's an equivalent for the Greeks. But there's this idea of when love hits its mark, it's not always a beneficial thing. Is that
Yeah.
an aspect of Freya as well?
Yeah, I think that's why she's kind of stuck eternally. Like, she's kind of tormented eternally. She's always looking for Ode, and she's always like kind of in between. Like, she can inspire love in everybody all the time, but then she's always still seeking love. And that's something that I've identified a lot with because I've inspired like love in a lot of people, but it's usually not the quality of love that I want. Oftentimes, it will be people that don't fit me or things like that. So yeah, I think Freya can work with people. I don't like to divide things with gender too much when I work with the gods and goddesses. I think they have their lessons to teach us regardless of gender. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think Freya is a very balanced goddess to work with, and she teaches us a lot about like love and sacrifice and the gifts that we can cultivate from pain that we have, you know.
I think that we get a lot of parallels when we're looking at different mythologies. For instance, I think it's either Inanna or Nana, I can't remember, goes into the underworld to meet her sister Erishkigal, I think. Is that correct? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and Anna. Yeah.
yeah, and she goes to meet her sister in the underworld, which is she's very opposite to her. And she goes through multiple gates where she has to remove this bit of jewelry, that bit of jewelry. She has to remove these different vestiges that she has on her, and be completely by herself and only in and of herself. Then once she gets to Erishkigal, I think that's the correct reference. She is basically she is without all the things that protect her. And Freya does that as well when she goes to the dwarves. But when Inanna gets to Ereshkigal, she is basically torn apart by her sister's minions, I guess you could say. I think that's at least partly not. This isn't understanding in every aspect, but part of the understanding is that um, love and the seeking of knowledge can tear us apart, but as an individual. But then we actually gain something through the process, through the process of wanting, process of needing, and the process of desiring. We might be torn apart, but we gain something in the end, and we gained a higher level of existence. Do you think that Freya is an ascending god in the sense that through all this suffering, like human beings go through the same, very similar suffering, there is something gained at the end, even if the object desired is not gained, or the person or being or God, if you will. Do you think that she is a god of enlightenment in that way, even if it isn't the love that we originally thought we would gain? Do you think she's a being of enlightenment in that way?
Yeah, well, actually, in most of the stories that I've read with Freya, she does ultimately end up gaining like the goal, like maybe not Ode, but like the Bersingamen, for example, she ends up getting it in the end. So I think she's definitely like she teaches us that we will, even if we have tears that we shed, those will turn to gold. We will get the prize at the end, even through all of our pain and suffering. And I think most of the stories of the gods and goddesses where they're doing a sacred journey, like they end up, I don't know, like Persephone, there's still like she's a sacred maiden where there's a lot of torment and all that too. And I've worked with her, and there's ultimately, she becomes the queen of the underworld. Like she starts out as this maiden of springtime, and yes, she's beautiful, and I identify a lot with her. But then through all of her pain and being like raped and stuff, she ends up still being a queen. And we end up through all of our pain, we end up cultivating like riches and spiritual fortitude in the end.
So it's about more the process than the original desired goal, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there, in closing, do you think there's any information that you would recommend as far as how to work with Freya, or what you should desire originally? Or is that something that you wouldn't want to go into?
I would say setting the intention to work with her. Cats are sacred to her, so like I have a pendant that I wear that has like a cat on it. Also, like any gemstones are sacred to her. So like, sorry for moving the camera around. But yeah, I would say just like a lot of like beauty rituals. Like that's a good way to start working with her. Like spell work that has to do with like beauty and just devotion to her is what I would do. And then like as far as totems, the cat is like a big one with Freya.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you very much, Ashley, for joining me in this conversation. We'll continue to talk after I end the recording. But hey, if any of you on YouTube feel like you want to comment, questions, comments, concerns are welcome. We'll look over them and try to answer your questions. Regardless, try to find love in your life. Try to find out what you really want in your life. And we hope to see all of you achieve your dreams. And we also hope to see all of you on my channel in the future.